All right, y'all, time to talk about this Pisces eclipse coming up on September 17th. I am recording this on Saturday, September 14th, and I have not made a podcast episode in I think over 2 weeks because y'all are real time witnessing my cyclical wave of energy as a manifester, which has now synced up with my menstrual cycle since my menstrual cycle returned last month for the first time in 2 years after pregnancy and after breastfeeding. My menstrual cycle, my moon cycle has returned. And now my energy as a manifester in human design is cyclical and it syncs up with my menstrual cycle, meaning that for the first 2 weeks of my cycle, from follicular phase to ovulation, those 2 weeks are the high end of my wave as being a manifester, which is all about divinely inspired creative action and output and just taking action, putting myself out there, being very extroverted, being out in the world and sharing and speaking and using my voice and making shit happen and moving the needle forward on projects and just, yeah, high output, high energy, right? And then at the low end of my wave, which also coincides with my luteal phase and my menstrual cycle, my menstrual phase, my energy is pulled into myself and I become very introspective because that's when I'm just immersed in the energies of life and feeling it all, feeling all of the cosmic energy, the elemental energies, feeling what's going on in my inner world and in my personal relationships, and kind of like taking stock, pulling into myself, and then channeling, having these divinely inspired messages and downloads come through. It's all about me journaling and writing, keeping it to myself, making sense of it for myself, as opposed to just immediately channeling and putting it out there in the world. I'm like building and submerged in my inner dark feminine. Like I'm just picturing the high priestess card in tarot. Like that is who I am during these 2 weeks, during my, low end of the wave. I'm just submerged in the underworld, in the dark, shadowy underworld. And this has been even more amplified this last cycle, this last moon cycle, because we're in eclipse season with the Pisces full moon eclipse coming up in 3 days. Everything was so intense for me these last like 3 weeks, especially. The energy was just so intense. Like everything going on in my personal life and in my world was so intense. And I understand why. And it's because I am a Pisces sun. My birthday is February 27th, 1993. And so I am 31 years old. And I've just learned about progressed progressed natal charts only very recently. Like, as someone who's obsessed with astrology, I could not believe I only just heard about this and learned about this, that you don't just stay your sun sign for your entire life. It takes 30 years for your sun sign to progress and then move forward into whatever the next sign is. So you don't stay the same sun sign for your entire life. And that's because it takes 30 years for you to learn the lessons and the deepest shadows of your sun sign, and then finally transmute your deepest shadows into your greatest gifts. And your sun sign is your true soul. It is your soul, your sunshine of like your personality, of your true self, of who you were really born to be, of your energetic blueprint. It is a very important part of who you are. It's not the entire part of who you are. This is why your rising sign and your moon sign, Mars, Venus, like all of those are so important in like making up who you are. But your sun sign is so important because you're the sun. Like the sun is the circle, the middle of everything, right? So your sun sign really is a huge part of who you are. And I am a Pisces. Like, duh, you could guess that by me, by everything I'm into, which is mysticism, the darkness, the deepness. Like, there's a reason I was obsessed with Lana Del Rey for for my entire 20s, because I was just so like submerged in this dark, deep depths of the watery emotional world. My inner world was so rich, so deep. And it was for a reason. It's because it's a part of my purpose. I had to learn really, Pisces like holds all of the other signs within it. Pisces is able to connect with every single person that they meet. Pisces understands the emotional spectrum of what it means to be a human better than anyone else. That was all a part of, it's a part of my greater soul mission in life, is to connect with every single person on earth and be this bridge for everyone and help raise us into a higher state of consciousness. So I needed to learn the complete, archetype of Pisces. And that meant the very deep, dark shadows of Pisces. And then more specifically, of being me, Lisa Littleton, born on February 27th, that the shadows of my energetic configuration of my hologenetic profile, um, I had to really embrace all of my shadows and turn them into my greatest gifts. And so I feel like now with this is what I've developed and come up with over these last 2 weeks that I was really pulled into myself. I had this huge breakthrough moment of clarity, of illumination, when I was trying to understand, like, what does this Pisces eclipse mean for me? What does this mean? It's huge. I could feel it building, building, building. What does it mean for me? And for me, it means that I'm finally at this culmination point where my shadows are now finally 100% turned into my gifts. And it's not so black and white. Like, you're not just in your shadows or in your gifts. Like, throughout your entire life, you're always like dipping into both ponds. Like, at some points in your life, and for some stretches, you're more in the shadows. And then at some points, you're more in the gifts. And at some parts of the day, you're in your shadows and in your gifts. Like, these are just energies or frequencies that you're always tapping into. But then eventually you do transmute that, and you do elevate your consciousness permanently into your gifts, and you just start to vibrate higher, and you anchor in a higher vibration, and you're more tuned into your gifts than you are into the shadows. And that's where I feel like I'm finally at in my life. And it was like one last hurrah of my shadows before I finally made this like massive official leap into my gifts. And that's why these last 2 weeks were so challenging for me, because it was like almost like one last look at my shadows, like my deepest shadows smacking me in the face. Like, I couldn't run from it, couldn't hide from it. This is what eclipses do. They rip open the rug, and you see all the dust and the dirt and shit that's still under the rug. It was almost like I had to be submerged in the dust and the dirt and shit one last time, so that I could consciously understand this energy and consciously understand exactly where I'm at in my life now that I have progressed out of Pisces. And that's what this Pisces eclipse means for me. It's this culmination of the last 31 years of my life and of the shadows. And now there's a really fantastic way for you to have a very clear picture of what your shadows are spelled out for you. You already know your shadows, right? But having it spelled out for you from the lens of the gene keys is so powerful. So now, if you're watching this episode, I'm about to share my screen, and I want to show you guys this gene keys reading that I put together for myself. I do gene keys readings for people, and I just did one the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my own, because it'll be a nice like refresher for me to just have it clearly, spelled out for me right here. So the way that you get your gene keys reading is you type in your birth date, birth time, birth location into any human design website like jovianarchive.com. And then with that information, you get your body graph, which always has your incarnation cross. And it's either going to say left angle of so and so or right angle of so and so. And then you're going to have these 4 numbers that are next to it. So for me, mine is the left angle cross of migration 3740 535. And now these numbers are called the gates. And if you look at the human design body graph, you're going to see 64 numbers all throughout those 9 energy centers. These are the 64 archetypes of the Chinese I Ching, which is the oldest book on the planet. It is all the 64 archetypes that every human being encompasses, like every human who's ever lived, every human alive today. We all share these same 64 archetypes. They are timeless. They are what makes up being a human. And all of these archetypes have 3 different expressions to them, 3 different vibratory expressions. There's the shadow, the gift, and the siddhi. The siddhi is the further evolved, it's the furthest evolved state of the archetype. And so most of humanity is operating at this shadow level. And so when you're born, you inherit a lot of these collective shadows from your family, from your ancestry, and then from your society. And then they're further ingrained in us as you grow up through societal conditioning, right? So now it's up to you and our generation to transmute our shadows into our gifts and unleash our gifts onto the world. Like the reason you were born is to unleash your gift. And now human design and the gene keys are this beautiful synthesis of Eastern and Western sciences and all of the most powerful ancient texts on the planet. It's this beautiful synthesis, and it spells out for you exactly who you were born to be, and it's a map of your true self. And I believe it's a gift given to humanity because we're at this place right now where we're so deeply conditioned and the world is so effed that we kind of do need it spelled out for us exactly how to hone our gifts, our inherent gifts and genius, and transmute the shadows into the gifts. Okay, so these 4 numbers are your life theme, they're your destiny, they are your greatest gifts, and they lie within your greatest shadows. So for me, they correspond to the gene keys numbers 37, 45, and 35. So for the sake of this, I'm letting you guys know that you can easily go look this up yourself. Like I said, put in your birth info, look to your incarnation cross, look to your 4 numbers, and then literally go to ChatGPT and type in, please summarize the gene key number 35 for me. And then it's going to give you this quick synopsis of the shadow, the gift, and the siddhi. And then as you're reading it, you're gonna notice like, holy shit, this is so accurate. Like this really is my greatest shadow that has been like weaving itself throughout my entire life. And then as you read it more intensely and you start to make sense of it, start to journal, and you'll see that when you are operating out of your shadows, you weaved your entire reality out of these shadows, and you co-created your entire existence from these shadows. But then you're going to wake up and snap out of it and realize that you can quickly co-create your entire reality now from your gifts. And so when you're reading your gifts and use this eclipse, even if you're not a Pisces sun, it doesn't matter. These eclipses affect everyone in divine timing in their own ways. If you're listening to this around the eclipse, or I guess it doesn't matter when you're listening to this, go to your gift aspect of who you are. And I want you to write in your journal, this is who I am when I am in my gifts. I am someone, now let's look at my gift number 37 of equality. Gene key number 37. So I am someone who embodies the principle of equality. I bring emotional strength, balance, and a deeper understanding of the need for mutual respect and support in relationships. This frequency fosters a sense of community, cooperation, and trust. I can nurture harmonious relationships where both parties feel seen, valued, and equally important. So this is like so key. Like this to me is a perfect marriage. And like I said, I have been experiencing the shadow element of this archetype within me so intensely the last 2 weeks, because it was almost like I had to be slapped in the face with it again of who I used to be and who I no longer want to be and who I am progressing past. Like this isn't me anymore. I'm progressed. I'm 31 now. I'm a mom. I'm married. I've been through it. Like I've been through so much transformation over these last few years, and I've been made these conscious changes to become the best version of myself who's living in alignment with who I was born to be so I can help other people and impart my gifts on the world. Like, this is who I am now. But I had to be smacked with the shadow aspect of who I was. So these last few weeks, this shadow has been coming up for me. Emotional weakness, especially in relationships and family dynamics, need for validation and approval from others, feelings of insecurity, emotional instability, being overly controlling. Like, this has been coming up for me, and that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am anymore. So you can get so brutally honest with yourself by looking up your 4 main numbers of your incarnation cross, of your activation sequence in the gene keys, and go ahead and do this deep dive. So this other one, my gene key 40, also has been coming up for me, this shadow of exhaustion. And this meant something for me at different points over the years. Like, as a manifester, like I said, I have cyclical energy. I don't have the same energy to do the same output day in, day out, which is why working a 9 to 5 job was so impossible for me. And when I forced myself to do it, because I have such strong willpower, this is what this divine will, this is what this gift is all about. Like, I do have such strong willpower, but when I use it in the wrong way to force myself to do something, I deplete myself so bad that I get physically sick from it. And this is what's happened to me multiple times throughout my life. Like, this happened to me. I burnt out at the age of 25 when I was living in the city, working a crazy toxic job. It wasn't 9 to 5. It was more like 7 to 7, 6 days a week, 100% commission based. It was insane. I was working so hard with my sheer force of willpower. And I exhausted my body so hardcore that it actually led to feeling isolated and disconnected from others, burdened by responsibility, um, and feeling, neglecting my physical well-being. And I was treating my body horribly. I was drinking like 5 coffees a day. Even when I would get home and it was time to sleep, I still wouldn't sleep. I would stay up super late, um, overstimulating myself. And I wouldn't talk to my friends or family during that time. It was just like, really, it was insane. It was my shadow of exhaustion. And now, the last 2 weeks, I was experiencing this again because my baby hasn't been sleeping through the night, and I've just been waking up every 2 hours again. And I'm not operating at a high level. And then I started drinking coffee again. I've been over caffeinating. And then again, even when it was time to sleep at night, I should be going to bed at like 9 p.m. I'll stay up till like 1 or 2 a.m., overstimulating myself and reaching this point of physical depletion and feeling self-isolating again. This is when I don't answer. I have like 100 missed text messages, 20, missed DMs. Like, I pull into myself. Anyway, you get the point. This is one of my greatest shadows in life. And this came back again these last 2 weeks. And I had to face it, I had to understand this, and then make this conscious choice to move into my gift now of resolve, which is the ability to apply willpower in a balanced and effective way. It's not about constantly working hard, but knowing when and how to use my energy wisely and understanding the value of rest and rejuvenation. So now I'm going to bed earlier. Like I said, I haven't made a podcast in 2 weeks because I didn't want to force myself to do something that wasn't aligned with my energy. I'm leaning back into my cyclical nature of my cyclical energy as a manifester and my cyclical energy as a woman who bleeds again. And so it's this gift of resolve, knowing when and how to use my energy. And I've been making a conscious effort to rest more, and we're making big changes with baby sleep now. So I know we're getting better. And also, the moment I made this conscious choice recently to tap back into my gift, my baby's sleep already improved. It's like she was picking up on my energy, and now she's sleeping for longer stretches these last few nights. So we're getting somewhere, and our energy is obviously so in enmeshed. And now I'm imparting my gift. So you guys get the point. This is like, if you want to know who I really am, this PDF is spelling it out for you right here. My greatest gifts in life, who I was born to be, and here are my greatest shadows. Here's another one. Gene key number 5, impatience. Feeling impatient is a big thing in my life, and that comes in different ways throughout multiple different stages of my life. Like now the gift of patience means something so different to me now than it did 5 years ago. And it's going to evolve as you evolve. But ultimately, my patience now is understanding to trust in the natural rhythms of life, trust in the divine timing of everything, and have, know that I'm building something strong to last, and that I'm not going to get instant gratification. I'm not going to get instant results or like instant millions of dollars. Like these things take time, and I'm trusting in the divine timing of it all. And so it brings a deep alignment of nature's cycles, helping people live in harmony with the unfolding of events rather than resisting them. Like this is my whole MO. I'm here to anchor in the divine feminine way of being. This is natural rhythms of life and owning yourself as a cyclical being, as a cyclical woman with a womb who bleeds. We are cyclical nature. This is so powerful. And I'll just share the last one now, this big shadow of hunger. And so, if you guys know me, my entire 20s is like summed up in this. It's an insatiable desire for new experiences, excitement, and stimulation. Hunger stems from a deep sense of dissatisfaction or boredom, leading to a restless pursuit of external experiences to fill an inner void. Like, I used to think I was just so adventurous and fearless, and I would do anything. I would try anything. I would go anywhere. I traveled to Southeast Asia. I moved to Asia by myself. I traveled all over Southeast Asia by myself. I road tripped across the country by myself. I moved to California by myself. I meet people all the time. I throw myself into so many situations. I'm not afraid to quit my career that day, go without a job for a while and just throw myself at life. Like all of these things that from the outside looks like I am just adventurous and fearless. It was really driven by ultimately, it is both. I am adventurous, I am fearless, but it's also driven by this hunger shadow that I had to really transmute, which I don't think I fully transmuted until I became a mother, which all of a sudden I don't have this I don't need to fill this inner void anymore with outer experiences. I was so imploded with true love, becoming a mother, having my baby, that all of a sudden I felt this deep sense of just ultimate peace and love. And I no longer need to seek and search outside of myself. I finally feel inner peace. I finally get it. I'm like, oh, now I can see why people can, why my friends are so content staying, in our home state where we grew up and staying at home and not needing to go on these crazy adventures, but that they can be fulfilled and satisfied just with their families and just with love. Like I was always missing that. Now I get it. I'm like, oh, wow. Like I feel so at peace. And this is being at peace here and having that inner implosion of love is what makes you no longer hungry, right? And now I have the true gift of adventure, which is new experiences are embraced as opportunities for growth rather than as escapes from dissatisfaction. Like I'm no longer dissatisfied. I feel so at peace because I'm actually living in alignment with who I was born to be. People embodying this gift are open to life, willing to explore new possibilities, and are flexible in the face of change. No longer need to chase experiences, but allow life's adventures to unfold naturally. This gift brings a deeper emotional maturity as it recognizes the true fulfillment comes from inner exploration just as much as external experiences. The gift of adventure also inspires others to embrace life's journey with curiosity and courage. That to me is my whole MO. Like, I really do just want to inspire you guys to live life so open, so full of enthusiasm and passion and excitement and courage and curiosity that you throw yourself at life and you hold nothing back. That's my true MO in life. And this is my greatest gift. And so I encourage you guys to go look up your 4 numbers that make up your incarnation cross. Go have it spelled out for you and smacked in the face and own it, right? And take your journal and write out the life that you wove for yourself when you were operating from the shadow level. And now your highest timeline, you weave it yourself by writing out your highest timeline when you're operating in your gifts. And then the Siddhi are your values, right? So the values of tenderness. Like I'm making all my decisions in life now because I'm striving towards tenderness, which is a transcendent state of being that reflects divine unconditional love and a soft nurturing presence. Like that's why I do what I do. I want to be the best mother I can be, the best wife I can be, the best teacher and friend and family member I can be, because I want to bring this unconditional love and just nurturing presence to everyone and everything. And then my next siddhi is divine will, leading to an effortless flow of synchronicity in life. I want to live my life making decisions by having a profound surrender to the universe's larger purpose. Struggle and exhaustion dissolve, replaced by a deep sense of peace, fulfillment, and effortless action. This is my value in life. These are my values. This is what I'm working towards. This is what I'm striving towards. And then timelessness. This state transcends the concept of time altogether, bringing the individual into direct experience of the eternal presence. There is no past or future, there's only now. Timelessness is a profound mystical realization where the flow of time dissolves and one experiences life as an uninterrupted continuum. Ultimate surrender to the divine order where everything is seen as perfect and complete in each moment. That's what I'm bringing to this world. That's what I was born to do, is embody this, is to share this, is to be this. And then boundlessness, state of absolute freedom where there's no limitations, no boundaries, no sense of separation. I experience life as an infinite, eternal, interconnected everything. The hunger for new experiences dissolves because I realize that I am already everything that I seek. This is a transcendent state of consciousness in which all experiences are seen as part of the same boundless reality. This is ultimate freedom from the cycle of desire, leading to a state of total peace and unity with life. So, this is who I am. And I am a rolling wave of consciousness with no fixed identity. And these are not fixed archetypes. It's not like you just become it. Like it's not like you just turn on a light and or you just decide this is who I am now. We are this rolling wave of consciousness that's tapping into this, but my goal is to tap into this more and more and more until it just becomes my ever present vibratory continuum. And go see what yours are. All of these are beautiful. All of these exist within each and every one of us. And for some of us, these are just the most prominent, these are like the main threads that weave your entire life together. So, sending you guys so many blessings this eclipse. It feels so beautiful. It feels so powerful. It feels so like divine feminine. We have so many powerful goddesses at play. We have Lilith, Hecate, Medusa. It's really inviting us to tap into our authentic, wild, untamed selves. Like tap into your true sunshine of your soul, of who you were born to be. Turn on your gifts, lean into your gifts, and write out your highest timeline now that you exist only in your gifts. Sending you so much love. If you want a Gene Keys reading, send me a message, lisa@alignhouse.com. Go check out my social media pages, my link tree. You can see some of my offerings on there. But sending you guys so much love, blessings, clarity, illumination. And if you're looking for a community to join, please join our community called Divine Goddess Chakra Awakenings. We have a powerful 7-month journey coming up. On the full moon and on the new moon, we're going to meet for live Zoom activation calls. There's something so powerful about all tuning in at the same time to align our intention and move forth in our life with clarity and community and power and unleashing our gifts onto the world. All right, much love. Mystic Mama out. Goodbye. I love you.